Hello, welcome back to Business Plan Toolkit. This is part 4, Market Research. Part 4 of Business Plan Toolkit is going to be market research. We have discussed already tools for getting started with your business plan, competitive analysis, demographics, and now we're going to talk about market research and industry knowledge. I'm Jillian Robbins, Business Librarian in the Business Resource and Innovation Center at the Free Library of Philadelphia. Let's jump into market research and industry knowledge. Industry knowledge and market research are going to be the description of your industry, the current size and growth potential, aka your industry forecast, which will include things like trends, opportunities, and challenges, as well as proving that you know your field inside and out. One thing to note when we're talking about market research and industry information, we are talking about your major industries, aka restaurants, not sushi restaurants or pizza restaurants. We talked in part 1 about that North American Industry Classification System, or NAICS codes, and this is where we're going to be using them pretty much exclusively to talk about our industries. So you might not be using your 6-digit code, you might be more using things like your 2- and 3-digit codes. When we talked about restaurants in part 1, we use the number 722511, that's full service restaurants. Today we might be more using things like restaurant or food and accommodation, that's 722 or 7225. If you need more information about NAICS codes and you haven't already, please tune into part 1, the introduction. The first database we're going to jump into today is called Mergent Intellect First Research. Mergent Intellect is my favorite market research database because it allows us to look at over 1,000 industries, and it provides kind of quick, easy to digest information on market analysis, industry research, trends, opportunities, and even insights. So let's pop back into freelibrary.org/business. I know if you've watched the other parts of this webinar, this might be a little repetitive, but for those of you who are just tuning in for market research, we're going to visit freelibrary.org/business. I logged in before, right over here on the upper right-hand corner, but you can always log in and get your library card from this section as well. So scrolling down past our events and documents, we're looking at databases and digital resources. If you click on that red link that says Premier Business Databases, it will take you into all of our databases, all 13. And here, moving through alphabetically, we are going to be starting with Mergent Intellect. Not to be confused with Mergent Online. Mergent Online is more for corporate histories and financial statements. We are looking specifically at Mergent Intellect. Mergent Intellect, like Reference USA, is a collection of databases. We are going to be looking specifically at First Research. Also note there's a section for the Learning Center. This is a great tool that allows you to access videos and how-to guides of using Mergent Intellect. But let's jump into First Research. When you enter the database, it does ask you to enter an email address. Once you click Submit, you are then in the database. So it does ask you to search by keyword or industry code. I do highly recommend searching by industry code in this database, by that North American Industry Classification Code, or NAICS code. The keyword search isn't my favorite on this database, but if you haven't yet discovered your NAICS code, or you know that you're kind of in between codes, again, we talked about this in part 1, there is the option to browse industry profiles. This is a great feature because they break it down by major industry, and it's also fully ingrained. So it's cross-referenced if you're not sure if you're a service or maybe technology and communications. They kind of overdo it. So they do cross-reference. So for example here, advertising and marketing services is located under technology and communications as well as services. So you don't have to be too specific about what you are. So scrolling down here, if you know that you are a consultant, you can select your industry specifically here, or you can browse a little bit closer. So here you'll notice that restaurants, bars, and food services is going to be listed under services, as well as, of course, under food and agriculture. But if you know your code, you can always search it as well. So I'm going to search my major code, my 7225. That's food service. And if we click on search, it's going to bring us to our most relevant results. You'll notice a couple of things will show up under this industry. It's a really good search. If you see a little globe next to this, it includes global insights. There's usually a little bit more information, a little bit more robust as well. So we're going to stick with restaurants. When you click on your industry, it'll take you to your page, all about information on your industry. Give it a second to load here. Okay, so once you enter your industry in the database, it's going to make it look like kind of an RSS feed. You'll notice that it's really easy to read, short kinds of paragraphs and information. I love this database because it just makes it as easy as possible, like reading a newspaper website. So a couple things to note in this database. It's updated very, very frequently. This database is updated quarterly for every single industry. Each industry is on a bit of a different schedule, so you can kind of see when your last update was. Many market research databases are updated annually, so this one's great because it's updated a lot more frequently. Moving down a little bit, you can also view what they call archived profiles for your industry. So because this is updated so regularly, it's nice that you can kind of travel back in time and see all the updates previously that you've gotten. This industry goes back to 2003, so lots of historical data. You're going to get 3 or 4 updates a year. So this last was before December. This was updated in July of 2019. So you can also kind of get a feel for your schedule as well. Back up top here, you can scroll straight through this database if you want to read snippets of all of your information. You can also expand it to view the full profile. That will give you all of your updates kind of in one place for each section. Depends really how you want to see your data. I prefer the profile overview personally. And you can also view your toolbar here on the side, and you can jump directly to each section that you'd like. So for example, if you want to specifically read about challenges, issues, trends, and opportunities, you can click directly there and it will bring you into that section. And you can go back to your profile as you go. In the blue toolbar right above that, you can also access your PDF version or your copy-paste version. You can copy and paste this information directly into your business plan or your outline, making sure you cite your sources, and you can download this as a PDF as well. Kind of one of the newer sections here are the news and social. You can sign up to receive a daily email that aggregates all of these articles, and these are going to be articles on anything in your industry, so they might not be super relevant to your needs, but it's a nice kind of overview, as well as tweets by top industry participants. Down below that, you can also check out some of the related industries. So again, if you're an industry that's maybe between industries, for example, if you're a restaurant, maybe you're a coffee shop, but you're also kind of a casual restaurant, and you're also kind of interested in what's going on with specialty eateries, you can jump back and forth between these industries. They make it really easy for you. You can kind of say, well, yeah, I'm a restaurant, but I'm also going to be specializing in coffee. If you click right on that related industry, it will go ahead and take you into this same page, but for that different industry. So slightly different information, but same options. So let's go back to our restaurants here. Some things in this database are pretty straightforward. All things that are included in many market research databases include your industry overview, industry updates, and forecasting information, pretty standard stuff. A lot of this you can even get from that census.gov/make site we discussed in part 1. But some of the more interesting pieces of this database include those issues, challenges, trends, and opportunities. Always important for entrepreneurs to see what is facing their industry. So this is updated quarterly as well, and you'll get between 2 and 6 of these items. So for example, for restaurants, our critical issues include volatile supply costs and increasing competition. And it gives you a brief description, maybe some quick stats as well about that issue. So issues and challenges, kind of the less fun side of the industry. Here you get quite a few challenges. Then looking at the trends and opportunities, a little more of the fun side, ways that you can kind of play on those trends, start getting into things that are a little more new, a little more exciting within the industry. So unique experiences, eliminating tips, and then finally those opportunities. What things exist to have an opportunity? What's on the forefront of restaurants right now? Growth of potential small markets, mobile payments, kind of things we've probably seen popping up a little bit. Another part of this database that I think is really unique is the call prep questions. I think this is a pretty stupid name for a really useful tool. So here in the call prep questions, we're going to get questions in lots of different topics and subjects here. These are questions that you yourself are thinking of right now. For example, who is your typical customer? We talked about that in demographics previously. This gives you a little snapshot of an answer, or kind of how to frame your mind around that answer. I almost like to start here because it really frames your mind around all things market research, competitors, sales, competition, and demographics. These are questions that you're not only asking yourself, these are questions your competitors are asking themselves, as well as if you're looking for a loan or if you're looking for more guidance, questions that your teachers or that your loan officers might be asking you as well. So it's a really unique tool that's really specific to emergent intellect first research. We also have websites and acronyms. These are all aggregated by emergent intellect. Get your acronyms, kind of quick pieces of information that you might be reading that you're not sure what those mean. We also have some industry websites that are all hyperlinked here. We're lucky here in Philadelphia, we may have some local chapters or different resources that might be available or that you might consider joining on your own. And we also have some other neat information like the financial information, executive insight, your quarterly industry update, and your industry overview information. So a really full, robust database I highly recommend exploring. Okay, so let's go ahead and leave emergent intellect. Going back to our free library website and our presentation. So the next database we're going to look at is Business Insights Global, where emergent intellect is more kind of RSS feed looking. Business Insights Global is going to be more encyclopedic. This includes information on companies, brands, market rankings. There are some SWOT reports embedded, industry studies, and news from lots of different reference resources and directories, magazines as well, much more encyclopedic. So again, from our databases page, we're going to scroll back up to our Bs, and we're going to look at Business Insights Global. No, Gail, we're not going to give you feedback right now. So this database is very searchable as well. Similar to emergent intellect, I do recommend searching by your NAICS code and going from there. So here in our search bar, you have the option to search by industry or by keyword. I recommend searching by industry to start with. So here I'm going to type in my NAICS code again. Here's my starting my restaurant, so 722511. This database is pretty smart, and when you start typing in your NAICS code, it will give you different choices. So we're going to stick with our full service restaurants here, 722511. And when you click search, it's going to generate our results based on NAICS code. Because we entered a 6-digit code, we're not going to have as many results. If we had entered a 2-digit code or a 3-digit code, we'd have a lot more. So let's stick with full service restaurants. When we click on our industry here, you're going to get a nice little overview, some top companies, top countries, and some key information, as well as some industry essays under our results. So you'll notice here we have some industry overview information coming from the Global Collection in 2019, the Encyclopedia of American Industries, going back from 2018, 2013, and 2020. So here, if we look, for example, industry overview of restaurants, because this is a Gale database, you're able to listen to this. You can also download it, favorite it, and share it via email or bookmarking. And it's available in many different languages. So here you're going to get a nice little overview of our industry snapshot, some background information, conditions of the industry right now, top leaders, and some further reading. So things that you can track down and get more information about as well. Kind of a nice, concise article here. You also have the option to search for other information beyond those industry overviews. If we want to find magazine articles, for example, you can click on that toolbar for magazines, and here we get a list of things that mention the industry of full-service restaurants. Again, it might not be overly relevant to your specific needs or industry, but you can limit your search a little bit further. For example, full text articles are available, different publication titles, related subjects, and you can always expand that or search just your past week or past month publications. So pretty customizable. Another thing that you can use this database to search would be companies. So here you can find publicly traded companies if you wanted to search and find, for example, Sodexo, the top restaurant, full service restaurant company. You can search them in the company finder or the company history to get more information. You can also search SWOT reports in this database. So SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's kind of a classic business tool. But here you can look for real businesses, mostly publicly traded large companies, and see their SWOT reports. For almost every single industry, there is going to be a publicly traded competitor. So if you're opening a cafe, you can search for something like Starbucks. There are over 1,000 SWOT reports embedded into this database. So here I search Starbucks. When you click on that, you will get full text. This is kind of looks like a book because that's what it's coming from. You can download and print this. But here we're getting the actual SWOT report, what Starbucks is identifying as their top strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And even better, if you scroll down, you can get a little more information about why they're considering these options, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So for example, they're including one of their strengths to be a strong network. Of course, there are so many Starbucks everywhere. 29,324 to be exact is listed right over here. And you can see why they are considering these things, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And you can see if they are maybe also your examples, or maybe why their strength might be one of your weaknesses, or one of their weaknesses might be their threat. So it's a great tool to kind of get familiar with some top competitors and maybe practice doing a SWOT report of your own as well. So it's the market research databases available at the Free Library of Philadelphia from your home, from anywhere in the world. Again, you can, once you've taken these webinars and you've gotten really familiar on your own with the databases, you can book yourself a librarian on our website, freelibrary.org/business. Just click on the green request an appointment button, and that will bring you to a form where you can request an appointment and ask your specific questions of a librarian. This presentation in full is available at the URL on this slide right over here. Go ahead and access that. It will also give you information on the handouts that we give out during class, so you can have full access to those. And as always, you can always send us a question via email, bric@freelibrary.org. I hope you enjoyed these presentations. Check out parts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is part 4, market research. Thank you. We hope to see you again. Bye-bye.